Thanks for joining us this morning on your news at Sunrise. I'm Alana Austin. Now we'll get to your top story headlines in just a second, but first, it has been cold. Let's check in with meteorologist David Rogers. David, are you surviving out there?
Yeah, it's pretty cold, I'll tell you.
Fluvanna County Sheriff's investigators are releasing new details about the arrest of a former Albemarle County school administrator. Deputies arrested Assistant Director of Transportation William Dean on March 19th in Pleasant Grove Park. He's facing 5 charges. Deputies say Dean was driving a pickup truck recklessly with a 16-year-old boy inside. Investigators say they smelled marijuana when they stopped Dean's truck. A search allegedly turned up marijuana, drug paraphernalia, and a concealed set of brass knuckles. Dean is out on bond and has resigned his position with Albemarle County Schools. He's due in court on April 7th. And a University of Virginia student says she found a Confederate flag and a gun displayed on her neighbor's door inside a Charlottesville apartment complex. And this comes days after an African-American student's bloody arrest. Now that UVA student's blog post about her experience has gone viral. Thousands of people have seen it around the world. NBC 29's Jenna Dagenhart spoke with this student. Now that young woman, Braxton, says she met with the UVA Dean of Students about the issue. She describes him as being genuinely concerned about making sure something like this does not happen again. Hundreds of people packed the university's chemistry building last night for an evening of classical Indian culture. That was one of many musical performances from the evening. Dances and songs carried many different religious undertones with a common theme of appreciating life. The event also featured traditional Indian dishes and sauces for people to sample. Several sponsors helped put on the event, including the Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture amongst youth. And researchers have more funding to find a cure for multiple sclerosis thanks to a group in Charlottesville this weekend. The National Multiple Sclerosis Society sponsored a walk on the downtown mall Saturday. Around 200 volunteers and people living with MS walked the length of the mall and back, raising awareness for a disease that currently has no cure. One woman who was diagnosed with MS in 2007 says the event shows she's not alone. 18 young ladies competed this weekend at Central Elementary School in Palmyra for the title of Miss Fluvanna County. Girls as young as 4 all the way up to age 9 competed to be crowned Little Miss and Petite Miss on Saturday. NBC 29's Sharon Gregory emceed the event. The Little Miss Fluvanna winner was Nadia Howard. Ashley Lundy won the Petite Miss title. Congratulations to both young ladies and to all the girls who participated in the pageant. And even though it was cold, some special children in Albemarle County got to flaunt their spring fashion on Saturday. Belk at Fashion Square Mall hosted Kid Fest, supporting the Children's Miracle Network. 60 children, including 5 Miracle Kids from the University of Virginia Children's Hospital, got to model in a runway fashion show. This Kid Fest was the 3rd time Belk has partnered with the Children's Miracle Network to raise funds for the hospital in Charlottesville. And there's an uproar in Indiana over the signing of a new law. Now we'll take you to the protests that are breaking out this weekend. Stay with us and we'll be right back after the break. That's next at Sunrise. Oh, I'm just fingers crossed that this is the last of the cold. When I was getting ready this morning and I stepped outside, oh gosh, if you're getting out there, you want to put those layers on this morning.
Just for this morning, though. Yeah, we'll get a little bit better.
And then it gets better throughout the day.
Yeah.
Well, that's something to look forward to.
Yes, it is.
The fallout continues over Indiana's new controversial religious freedom law. Thousands rallied in Indianapolis Saturday to express their displeasure with Governor Mike Pence, who signed the legislation last week. Erica Cox was there. A new study out of Boston University on siblings finds genes play a strong role in longevity among those who live to be 100 or older. Researchers found that for people who live to 90, the chance of their sibling also living that long is relatively small. But siblings of 95-year-olds were more than 3 times as likely to live to the same age, and siblings of 100-year-olds were 9 times as likely to see the century mark. Experts say genes appear to play a stronger role in longevity the older a person lives, and the combination of genes that help people survive until 95 are different from those in people who reach 105. The West African nation of Guinea has declared a 45-day health emergency to stop the spread of Ebola. Now, 5 of the country's regions are now impacted. At this time, the president has announced the measures on state TV as of late Saturday. He says the epidemic has shifted to the west. Good morning and happy Sunday out there. Here's a live look from our mountain camera this morning. If you're waking up with us and you've been outside yet today, you've probably noticed it's a bit chilly this morning and definitely was pretty cold last night. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Alana Austin. Now we'll get to the news and top story headlines in just a moment. But first, let's get a check of the weekend weather with meteorologist David Rogers. Hi, David. How are you?
Pretty good this morning, Alana.
Volunteers and people who work with down on their luck families in Charlottesville got a hands-on experience this weekend of what it's like to live in poverty. A poverty simulation was hosted at Charlottesville High School. NBC 29's Kat Boardman reports. Now, Piedmont Casa hopes to do more simulations like this in the future. If there's enough interest, they're hoping to do one for groups of high school and college students. And early this a.m., an Air Canada jet came off the runway during a hard landing at Halifax Stanfield International Airport. The flight was traveling from Toronto. All of the people on board were able to get off the plane. Air Canada reports 24 people were taken to the hospital for observation and treatment of minor injuries. No major injuries have been reported at this time. The aircraft, an Airbus A320, was damaged in the incident. Heavy snow was reported at the time of the landing, but it is unclear if that played a role in the accident. And investigators are trying to learn everything they can about the co-pilot they believe deliberately crashed a Germanwings plane into the French Alps. Florida Senator Marco Rubio is planning a major announcement for mid-April in Miami. Sources tell CNN it is likely to be the launch of his presidential campaign. The announcement is expected the week of April 13th. According to the Tampa Bay Times, Rubio has reserved the Freedom Tower on the campus of Miami-Dade College. Rubio has not publicly confirmed plans to run for president. Texas Senator Ted Cruz became the first prospective contender to make his bid official last week from Lynchburg. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is slated to announce on April 7th that he is running, and CNN has learned former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is planning an April launch as well. And a new type of sport took place on grounds this weekend at the University of Virginia. Students turned an activity that perhaps used to get them into trouble in school into a full-fledged battle. We'll have that report next at sunrise. Well, that would be great. And as you were saying, that even Miami was
chilly. 59 for Miami.
I know.
That's chilly for Florida standards.
Now, our friend Sean Cudahy, who normally does this newscast in the morning, he went off to Key West, and he was saying, we were jealous of him at first, but then he was saying that it was windy. It was, you know,
a little cooler down there.
Yeah, not exactly what still better than here.
Yes.
But, well, anyway.
We'll start to warm up.
A first-of-its-kind competition at the University of Virginia Saturday pits students against one another in a battle of paper airplanes. UVA students competed against others from JMU and Virginia Tech for the chance of moving on to the international finals in Austria. NBC 29's Rob Manch has that story. And here's a live look from our mountain camera again this morning. It's supposed to be a nice day shaping up, but grab your hot tea and coffee if you're getting out there this morning because it's chilly. We'll be right back after the break with our consumer news. Good Sunday morning. I'm Alana Austin. We now have your consumer and business news segment for you on your news at sunrise. CNBC's Mandy Drury gives us a preview of what's ahead this week in the world of business. Members of Albemarle County Police, Fire and Rescue and the Sheriff's Office got to take a break and enjoy some donuts Saturday for a good cause. The newly opened Duck Donuts in the shops at Stonefield held a donut eating competition. The person who ate half a dozen donuts the fastest won and could choose a charity to receive a $250 donation from the shop. Andy Gluba from the Albemarle County Sheriff's Office won. The donation will go to a nonprofit that helps families of officers killed in the line of duty. And just to wrap up here, first of all, I want to say congratulations to you on your award.
Thanks.
The Associated Press Awards took place actually in Charlottesville here this weekend, and we just wanted to recognize you and some of the other members of our team who won. It was held at the Omni yesterday afternoon. We won 14 awards in total. Between the news, weather, and sports teams, we earned 8 Superior Awards and 6 Meritorious Awards for coverage throughout the past year. Those awards include Outstanding News Operation of the Year, of course, count on us for continued coverage, and we want to thank you for all that you do.
Yes, indeed. Weather-wise.
Sounds great. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. Have an excellent Sunday.